Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Colleen and I wasn't going to do this video and then I thought, well, why not? I'm making today for our dinner later, I'm making ham and potato soup and it's quite good. It doesn't require a lot of ingredients and in fact, maybe other than the ham itself, you may have everything that you need right in your refrigerator and in your pantry. So it's one of those ones that's quite simple to make and it's pretty frugal actually. So let's get on with it. Okay, like most soups, this one's going to start off with a few basic ingredients. Over on the stove, I have my soup pot. Let me reach it. This is what I use. It's the biggest pot that comes with your pot set if you've bought a set of pots. And this does the job for the soup. So I'm going to set it back over there. We need about 2 medium-sized ribs of celery. And I'm just going to run my knife through them a couple of times so that the pieces aren't really big. And I'm going to grab a towel to put underneath my board because I know that makes a lot of racket on your end. So let's try and fix that a little bit. You can't take all the noise away, especially when you're cutting things that are fresh like this. And it won't take long to have everything ready for this soup. And it's kind of a funny time of the year because we're still eating soup because we can still see snow. It's not in our yard anymore, but certainly there's still skiing on the ski hill not far from our house. So we're still eating soup, but I guess any time of the year can be soup season when I think about it. I'm just going to grab that pot. And I'll put all these aromatics right into the pot because I want to cook them a little bit before I add all the rest of the ingredients. So that was 2 medium ribs of celery. And now I'm just going to peel up 2 large carrots and cut them. Yeah, so I thought a ham soup, this is maybe a fitting time of the year to be having ham soup because over the Easter holidays it seems like a lot of people eat ham. Today I do not have leftover ham. I went to the grocery store and I bought a ham to do this. So I know that ham, although it was $15 and I think it was 96 cents, that ham will make my soup today and also probably provide enough ham for 2 or 3 breakfasts. So if you don't have leftover and you purposely have to buy ham for a recipe, then make sure that you think about what else you can make with it before you buy it, because these hams come in chunks. So if all you were going to do was make one batch of soup, then you would certainly not buy as big a ham as I bought today. But I'm always trying to think ahead to what else I can do because I'm trying to be a little more thrifty with my dollars and I don't want to waste anything. So let's get through these carrots, these noisy carrots. Yes, my knife still needs sharpened. That's terrible. Why is it the tool that I use the most that I have given the least amount of attention to? There. There's one. We've had a year of breakdowns. Started off with a year of breakdowns, I guess I should say. So I shared with you that our furnace broke down and we got it fixed. And recently our dishwasher has been giving us the idea that it probably needs a service. And vacuum cleaner broke. And I haven't been able to figure out its problem. And oh, what else? Oh, our washing machine is making a thumping noise. So we have a repairman coming out to have a look at it. And of course all these things cost a few bucks. And so I'm going to be a little more careful conserving where I can. And it's not that easy to be a frugal cook these days. Prices are high, but we do the best we can. Okay, just got through these noisy carrots. And there we go. It's the last of them. Now we need one medium onion, which is about what I have here. This is about a medium one. And then I am going to put this onto the stove and get it sweating away while I work on the rest of the ingredients, which won't take long. It's a very quick recipe. I also found another really fast recipe for a, what would you call it? There's a word for it. Let me think. It's a bread that you mix up in like 5 minutes. That's a soda bread. I'm going to call it a soda bread. It's really an oat bread, I think. That you mix up in just a few minutes and then it bakes for an hour in the oven. And if I think I have time today, I'm going to trial that recipe because it only has 4 ingredients. It wakes up in 5 minutes and then bakes for an hour in the oven. So it seems pretty frugal. It also seems really fast, so it could be a recipe that we could have started today with. And oof, that's a spicy little onion. And then had it with our soup. And because I'm having the soup later in the day, I may go ahead and make the bread and have it ready for dinner later too. And then one of these days I'll share that recipe with you if it's a good one. I don't like to share recipes with you that I'm trialing for the first time because I want you to always count on me to give you good advice, good recipes that anybody can make at home. All right. Thank you to everybody who has commented and cheered me on with our new bridge project. It was really interesting to hear your comments about bridges that went in your communities and how you were affected by it. And the stories are all very similar. Lots of dust, traffic congestion. And so thank you for sharing those stories with me. I appreciate it. I also want to do a couple of little shout outs. I want to shout out Darlene. I'm not going to give away your last name, but I know you're going to be listening or watching, and I appreciate your emoji messages all the time. And I think about you every day when I'm busy scurrying around looking for recipes and getting ready to make something. So I hope that you're well. So, oh, what am I doing? That's for the compost. All right, so this is going to go on the stove, and I'm going to start to sweat this down. I'll grab a wooden spoon and give it a scrape around, and then I will come back and we'll get started on the rest. That crazy thing, I could grab the receipt. And let's do that. So crazy thing, I didn't have 2 ingredients for this recipe today. I didn't have any ham, so I went to the store and I bought this little ham, which was $15.79. And then I don't know if you've ever done this, but I got almost all the way home and I realized I forgot to pick up the potatoes. So I knew I needed 3 large potatoes. Or I could have bought a bag of potatoes, but I noticed that the russets, and I like to use russets for this dish because they dissolve into it pretty easily. A bag of russets, the potatoes were all this big in the bag, and I thought, do I really want to peel that many potatoes? It takes about, around 7 cups probably of potatoes. And so I went, no. So back to the store I went, didn't make it all the way home, picked up these 3 russet potatoes, brought them up, I did self-checkout, and these 3 russet potatoes cost me $10.02. That's insane. I would have been far better off buying the $7.99 bag of potatoes that had double the weight at least than buying these 3. But I was in a hurry. No good excuse for it, really. No good excuse. Crazy. But the 3 potatoes were almost as much money as the ham. Oh, this world. Okay, I'm going to peel up these potatoes and get them diced up and ready to go. Now, this is one of those soups where you can thicken it if you need to, but I use russet potatoes because I'll mash probably 1/3 of the potato right in the soup. So it makes the soup thicker without adding any flour to it or thickening agent. Now, that's entirely up to you. To thicken what we have here, we're going to have 4 cups of chicken stock and 1.5 cups of heavy cream. To thicken that, I need at least 1/4 of a cup of flour, probably even a little more. So if you happen to be gluten intolerant, you can just leave it out. Your soup will be a little runnier, but there won't be anything wrong with it. So I will put the flour in the recipe that you find under this video, but maybe I'll just write optional beside it, and so that you know that you don't have to use it. It just makes it quite a bit thicker. I'm going to stir our pot and be right back and carry on. Set these aside and wash them all at the same time. So yeah, about my messages. I really appreciate all of you from all over the place who watch so carefully, that you pick up on things about the family that I talk about and where we live and the kind of childhood I had. I honestly feel like we're friends through the camera. I'm not just somebody trying to teach you a new trick or a skill, but rather friends. We could be on FaceTime, and I appreciate having you all there all the time and keeping me honest, which you've done a few times when I've missed an ingredient in the description box below or something along that line. I've done one thing on the camera and actually said another while I was doing it, and you guys are really good about catching me so that I can go back and correct those errors so that other people don't just follow along and get lost in the recipe. And yes, working on these big potatoes, I'm using a knife instead of a potato peeler. I just find it works better for me. And I grew up on a farm using a knife to peel potatoes. And I can hear my dad saying right now over my shoulder, as I often heard him say to my mom, "You're peeling half the potato away." So every time I peel these big potatoes and I have this ugly pile of potato peelings, I think about my parents. Okay, I'm going to wash these and flip this board over because I'm not going to wash it right now. And then I will be back to cook these up. Okay, I've stirred the pot, and now I'm going to get into these potatoes, and I'm going to cut these into chunks. And I'm not going to be really concerned about the size of them too much, because as I said, I'm going to be mashing. I won't mash all the potatoes. They will be mashing in the pot. And because the carrots cook about the same rate, they're going to end up being, some of them may get mashed a little as well. But it's okay. It's all fine. There's things in this world that we could worry about, but that's not one. Cooking isn't fun for everyone. I recognize that there are people who do not enjoy cooking as much as I do. But definitely, it should be something that doesn't worry us too much. There. I have to get a bowl for this transfer. Actually, maybe I'll just dump them in the pot. And that will work. This one's bigger. So one is way bigger. Okay. Okay, 3 to start with. And then 3 again. My aromatics in the pot are, would you say that's about 7 cups? I'm starting to think so. I might have too much potato here. The aromatics, I can smell them. They're slowing down nicely. And for anybody who thinks that making soup is a chore, it is one of the easiest things you can make, because you can keep adding things to it and tasting it until you have it just the way you want it. That's a lot of potatoes. Oh well. Now I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by it. Now I think it's going to be fine. Okay, I'm going to put these in the pot. Okay, there is a lot of potatoes in the pot. In fact, that 4 cups doesn't cover the potatoes that are in the pot. It just comes up to the top of the potatoes that are in the pot. Now, I bought this particular ham not only because it was one of the Best Buy prices, but also because it's a smoked ham. And that smokiness can really add flavor to our soup. So that's what I was getting at there. I'm just going to check this and see if it has one of those, you know, those plastic things over top of them. I don't like those plastic bits. I need about 2 cups of ham. And I think the smaller piece there will do that. Again, I don't want any of the plastic bits. I know they say you can eat it, but okay. And these I'm going to do up in a smaller dice because there's certainly a lot less ham than there is potatoes, and I want that hammy flavor to get through everything. And there. Now I'm going to dice them. This basic soup recipe can be used for so many different kinds of soup. You could use hamburger in this. You could use chicken or turkey in this. Yeah, there's so much you could do to change this without really changing anything at all. It's the same ingredients. You start with your aromatics and then you work your way through it. And soup is a hard thing to make fail. So let's hope I'm not going to do that today. No, I won't. And neither will you. You'll be just fine. Okay, as it turns out, I had enough ham here to make 2 pots of soup because I think this is about 2 cups left on the board. This is 2 cups in the pitcher. So I really could have chosen a smaller ham. I'm going to put this in a freezer bag and I'm going to freeze it, and then I'll have ham chopped in a month or 2 when we have soup again sometime. Or I will have ham chopped for some sort of a quiche or a breakfast scramble or something like that. It freezes well, so that won't be an issue. But I definitely got a lot more than I bargained for, and I'm quite happy about it actually. So I'm going to dump this into the pot, give it a stir, and check the temperature on the stove to make sure it's about medium, because now we're working with potatoes in there. I don't want to scorch them to the bottom of the pot. The only other ingredients that we have left to put in there is some sour cream and some heavy cream, and I think we have soup. Now, you could add a bay leaf to this. I think that, in fact, I'm going to, just for an additional amount of flavor, but other than that, I'll taste it and check for salt because I use low sodium chicken stock. I think it's 30% reduced. Yes, it is. And because I use that, I am definitely going to taste it because the ham is going to bring its own salt to the dish as well. So taste, taste, taste as you go along and make sure that you're getting it where you want it to be. Sometimes following the recipe, you'll get to the end of the recipe and you taste it and it's way too salty. And that's because you didn't check it along the way to see what was going on. So, okay, I'll be back once I'm to the stage where I can add the cream to the mixture and mash the potatoes and mix in the sour cream. See you soon. Okay, folks, I've got it off the stove. And I've boiled it pretty well. And you can see there's a lot more vegetables than there is stock in there. But the potatoes are good and soft. And I'm going to remove that bay leaf I told you I'd put in there. And I'm going to get to mashing some of this. I don't want to mash all the potato that's in here, but I want to mash about 1/3 of it. You don't have to worry about the ham because the chunks of ham hold up pretty well. And there. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to add 1½ cups of heavy cream. And this just turns it into a creamy delight. I'm going to stir that well. I hope you can see what's going on in this pot. And then I'm going to add, first I'm going to taste it. I'll use this spoon. I tasted it while it was cooking, but I just want to taste it again at the end. I also added about 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper to it. Now I tasted it when it was cooking, and it tasted like it had enough salt in it. But now I'm at this point, it does not. So I mashed up all those potatoes, which were not salted, and they have definitely made a difference to the flavor. So I'm going to add some salt to this, at least 1/2 teaspoon, and I'm going to give it a stir. And then I'm going to add the sour cream. This is 1/2 cup of sour cream. This just brings kind of finish, a tiny little finish to the dish. And stir that in. And that'll take a minute to get all of the sour cream stirred in. I'm going to taste it again. See where we're at. Yes, I double dipped. I'll grab a ladle, my bright red ladle, and I'll spoon some out into a bowl for you. So that you can see what it looks like. Oh, I'm trying to get it so that you can see what it looks like, but I know I would never eat that much. So let me just put this down here, and I'm going to bring the camera closer so that you can see it. Now, some people may like it a little saltier. See, I've got it on the side despite my best efforts. Some people may still add some salt to it, but I'm quite a salty person and I think it's good. So yeah, the key is to keep checking as you go along so that you can figure out where you are. Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Join this fantastic group of people that meet here with me every week for a cup of tea or coffee and share a new recipe. And if you're a long-time watcher, I sure appreciate all of you being out there. I'm glad I don't have to do this all by myself. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and I look forward to bringing you another recipe. I hope that everyone is well and safe until we see each other again, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye-bye.